Welcome everybody to Real Wreckers,
where we are all things movie.
all things TV,
All
all
things
things
nerd.
nerd. Today on Real Wreckers, we are going to be wrapping up this. I'm pretty sure I'm calling it a character trilogy now.
I would call it our character arc, but it's not us developing, it's us what we've already developed.
Well, we do talk about character arcs in some of them.
Yeah, we'll talk about character arcs, but like the character,
Exactly.
the arc of our character.
2 weeks ago, we talked about our top 10 favorite villains of all time.
Mhm.
1 week ago, we talked about some of our favorite heroes of all time.
And today,
We're counting down our top 10 favorite characters
good,
of all
bad,
time.
mid, evil, you know.
And I'm more excited for this one than the other ones because for these, we're just talking about the characters we love. We're not judging them by, okay, does this define what we think a hero is? Does this define what we think a villain is? This is just, no. Who do we love most in terms of all of entertainment?
Whether it's, are they such a good character with their depth? Do we love them for nostalgia? Is there like a hype surrounding them and their actor?
I picked mine mainly because I was thinking, I'll be honest, for me this was hard, but I was thinking about, okay, who is the character that if I were channel surfing and I saw all of their movies back to back to back, who would I pick? And if it was movies, TV shows, or YouTube stuff,
Mhm.
who would I, if I was just channel surfing, who would I pick to go off of? That's how I pick my list.
Gotcha.
And I'm actually and going by that logic, I was actually, all right, I'm more confident in this list than ever.
Yeah, I feel like mine could change, honestly, just because I have more that I would want to talk about. It's not that it would change the list because they're not the best. It would just be the ones who did not make it. I would want to have like an entire episode for them,
Yeah.
like the runner-ups even.
Did you have a lot of honorable mentions?
Along each, yeah, actually.
Yeah, I had as I was brainstorming, I had 30 characters,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I have to narrow it down.
For me, it's also like the history, I guess, backing why I like them and why I feel like they're still really relevant now.
I have to be honest. My number one, I knew right away. My number one, I was like, yeah, this is my favorite one.
Yeah, mine. Yeah, I think everyone
Has a favorite character. If they might have to think about it for a solid 5 minutes, but everyone has a favorite character.
And
it's the
everyone
runners
at home,
up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for everyone at home, I think you know with if you know each of us personally, and we know each other, right?
I guarantee you,
Mm-hmm.
because I've asked a couple people, I've asked my family if they could guess my favorite character. Not one guessed.
Mine would teeter between my 1 and 2, definitely.
Not one of them guessed my all-time favorite character.
Really?
Correct.
Wow. I think I
I
have it in the
guarantee
bag.
you couldn't.
Really?
I guarantee you would never guess it.
Is it the one that I think it is?
I
We'll
guarantee
find
you.
out.
Yeah, I'm thinking wait, I'm not telepathic.
No, I almost had you slip up and just tell me.
Exactly. So before we get into that, we did have a poll on our Instagram.
Sweet.
Just to narrow it down, it was just who's your favorite character of all time. We did different ones for movies, for TV shows, for video games, for books, all that sort of stuff.
And if you want to just message me right now, you can go ahead and text me. Just
Exactly.
Tell me what your favorite is.
Exactly. But Fred the Duck said that his favorite character
Hi,
of
Jacob.
all time was Captain Jack Sparrow.
Wonderful.
I do agree with Captain Jack Sparrow, especially in the earlier films, because Dead Men Tell No Tales. I'm gonna be honest, I did not like him. I thought he was extremely annoying, but at the same time, I feel like his performance was the most accurately drunk.
Like actually drunk, not just my words are slurred and I.
Exactly, because I feel like either Johnny Depp was drunk that day, or he is a better actor than anyone gives him credit for,
Mhm.
because he acted accurately drunk.
I mean, in light of recent events,
I don't blame him for being drunk if he was on set of Dead Men Tell No Tales drunk, but
I was gonna say, like during time frame, all that drama surrounding that, especially with that trial.
I like how they made up how they made it like a UFC fight sort of
Yeah,
thing.
literally, like hearsay, hearsay. Oh, ref, come on. This is a court, and Johnny's like at the stand. This is a court
Especially
case,
if you,
isn't it?
especially if you've seen the posters, it's like, yeah, this is a UFC fight.
You know what's really messed up? Do you get lives on TikTok? I know you don't go on TikTok a lot. You post more than you view, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, the one thing about it. I view the people that I follow, but at the same time, I don't follow a lot of people.
The most garbage live TikToks, besides like a normal like 20-something-year-old just in their room, if it's like a stream, it's usually like some guy playing like Grand Theft Auto or something. A lot of it is like weird little fight sims. It's like a game you put like tags on two fighting characters, and it might be like two politicians, two celebrities. It was so messed up with like a live feed of the court case along with like some sort of toon game where they just had Amber, Johnny in like a boxing game. It was like a vote counter thing. It was so messed up.
All of these people making all their jokes. Meanwhile, Johnny Depp actually did get 2 fingers cut off.
Yeah,
Like, we're all messed up people and we're all going to hell.
who's we? I haven't said anything.
I didn't say anything either.
I think my oldest sister is like a huge Depp fan, but I'm not sure so much. No, for Jack Sparrow too. But I think especially like more gothic, like Edward Scissorhandsy stuff.
My
'Cause
mom,
she was like a goth when she was a teenager.
my mom is just as much a simp for Jack Sparrow as I am for Ahsoka Tano.
that makes sense.
Yep. All right. So with that said, I just want to get these honorable mentions out of the way because even though I had to narrow down my list, there were a couple that I was like, nope, they had to be mentioned because for one of them was Jack Sparrow, but we already got that one out of the way. The other one was Vito Corleone from The Godfather, which is the one played by Brando.
Marlon Brando?
Yeah. Which-
Yeah. As a name and face blind person, I am trying to train myself more, especially with a media show.
Especially because you haven't seen The Godfather. Which
Wow, you really just haven't even
needs
read
to
that.
be corrected.
Yeah.
It needs to be corrected.
John Wick, The Godfather, and I want to do like a full run of Pirates of the Caribbean because I don't remember a lot.
My other one was Negan from Walking Dead, obviously. Rocky Balboa was an honorable mention. It was tough knocking him off the list, but even tougher, I had to knock down Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. He's not on my list,
Man.
even though you like Huey Lewis in the News. They did a kill count of that movie, and I was like, I'm in. I'm stopping everything I'm doing right now, and I'm watching that kill count.
I thought the whole thing was that he didn't actually kill anyone.
That's one of the theories, but I think he killed a lot. I think he killed most of the people.
And he just got away with it.
And he got away with it because
he didn't like that he got away with it. He wanted to get caught.
Exactly. Like most serial killers want to get caught, he can't get caught.
So legally, in hindsight, in like that messed up bureaucracy that he's trapped in,
Exactly.
he didn't quote unquote kill anybody.
But actually, he did.
I think that's the
Any
best
honorable
theory.
mentions for you?
Ooh, Rico Rodriguez from Just Cause.
Okay.
Very, very close
I'm
actually.
surprised that he wasn't on your list.
Because there's actually not a lot of nostalgia backing him because I wasn't like a huge fan until like later on in high school when I really played the games. You know, it's one of those things where like older siblings playing something really cool and you just ride off of how cool it looks. Because it's like, why does everyone our age love to watch someone play game? Because my older sibling did it and made it look cool. Like, of course I'm gonna watch someone play games and do better. But yeah, I'm looking at my runner-ups. Actually, a lot of Avatar characters didn't make it because there's too many good ones to choose from. Boomy was supposed to make it. Yeah, that's
Wow.
Now this is my favorite character for us. The one who I picked. I think you're gonna laugh or get really mad. I think.
I'm gonna be honest. A good 90% of my list is very predictable. It's just that 1%, which is my favorite character of all time, that throws everyone off.
I don't think
The other 9 very predictable. If you know me, they're very predictable, I should say.
Also, you know who my third runner-up was?
Yeah.
Sparky Boom Man.
Oh,
You know,
just because we know so little about him.
I will go more in on that in a minute. Sorry, if on the way I will explain a lot of stuff. Don't worry.
So you want to get into these lists?
What about polls?
Oh,
you fool!
We got through the polls.
Oh, okay.
Remember? Yeah.
All right.
You want to get into the list? You want to start, or you want me?
Well,
to
you start. I started last time. Why don't you start?
All right. So, my number 10 favorite character of all time is Death from Supernatural. The Horseman of Death.
Does he ride a horse?
He drives a white car. A white Cadillac, I should say.
I got a good joke lined up for that.
But in all honesty, of all the I was going to pick a character from Supernatural. Supernatural is one of my favorite shows. There had to be a character. So I was between Dean Winchester, I was between Castiel, I was between Charlie Bradbury, I was between a whole bunch of characters from that show, but there was only one that every time they are on screen, I am always watching and I am always on the edge of my seat, and that is Death. He is played by, I'm trying to look up the actor right now, who played Death in Supernatural. Who played Death?
Does he have like an awesome voice?
He just has a presence to him. Like, for one, he does have a very skeletal figure. Like Julian Richings, that's his name. Julian Richings is his name.
Gotcha.
He has a very skeletal figure, so immediately he puts off that, oh yeah, this guy is some sort of Grim Reaper or Omen of Death. And he also wears all black and all that stuff. But the way that he talks, like, he is talking to Dean Winchester in the scene, and he's just sitting eating pizza with a knife and fork because he's very prim and proper. And Dean asks him, "Is this the part where you kill me?" And he says, "You have an overinflated sense of your importance. To a thing like me, a thing like you, well, imagine if a bacteria sat at your table and started to get snarky." Like, oh, okay, you mean business.
Wow. Or doesn't want business. You
But
mean nothing.
And the way that, and even though he's so prim and so proper, and he always has this commanding presence, this very ominous presence. He loves cheap food. Every single time you see him, he is eating some sort of junk food, and he is just the most thin person you can possibly imagine. But he's always eating the most unhealthy foods.
I think he's like a tourist to the living.
And like in one of his last scenes that he's in the show, like he's talking to Dean Winchester, and he's saying, and he made a deal with Dean, and Dean lost the bet, and he said, "Okay, yeah, I lost, but at least have the balls to say that it was rigged from the start." He just looks up from Death, just looks up from the table at him, and he says, "Most people talk to me with more respect." And he says, "I didn't mean we're done here." Like, okay, yeah.
Wow.
This is an ethereal being.
That's like some Vader presence right there.
Yeah.
So, your number 10.
My number 10 is the Horseman of Death from Supernatural.
Hype. So, my number 10. Very, very, very nostalgia backed. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Oh, it's Crash. No, it's
Crash.
Banjo. I was about to say Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I know.
It's,
You play
it's
games,
Banjo
right?
Kazooie. No, I don't
Yep.
play games.
It's Banjo-Kazooie, very nostalgia backed, but pretty much for all the reasons someone will probably list someone like Mario, I feel like.
Yeah, I get that.
I said it like the guy who says hello Mario.
Hello,
Hey.
Mario.
Hey, Luigi. Hello, Mario. Pretty much when it comes to liking games, this is a biggie. Link, one of the best characters.
I'm surprised. Is Link on your list at all?
No, because Link is objectively one of the best, hero characters, part of the best game series, technically. Like, the same N64, the first 3D Zelda was released on.
I'm shocked Link isn't on your list.
Because it's not that he fell back. It's just like, well, that seems a little obvious. These are like characters that I hold closer than you might think. Yeah. That's how I rank them. But for Banjo, especially recently, I don't think you keep up with Smash Bros. Do you?
Nope.
I didn't give a single crap about any of the Smash announcements. Really, it was cool to be like, oh, Steve from Minecraft got put in the big fighting game with a company that we all thought was like way, out of the loop when it came to like.
I just know the whole bit about is it Wario or Waluigi?
Waluigi
will never be in Smash Bros.
He's in Smash, but he's not a fighter. He's a summon. Like he's an item technically. Like you summon him to fight. I'm
sorry, I keep looking because there are levels showing when you talk over here, but not on the board. So Pretty sure you still have levels.
Yeah, if
I'm
you
pretty
see-
sure.
It
Yeah.
means it's recording us. It means that you can't just live view.
Yeah.
So you can record view, which is technically still live because it's recording right there.
All right. I'm sorry. I was
It is
just
live.
going back
It's
and
not
forth.
live. It is live. It's not live.
Yeah.
If you
I can
get
see
me.
I can see my vocals on here, but not yours. But those
Do
I
you
can see
get me?
both of ours.
No, you don't. You get me?
I get you.
No, you don't. But yeah, for Banjo, I would say nostalgia backed. Pretty much the big like, oh, I'm learning how to play something in 3D. Pretty much also one of the biggest reasons why I prefer 3D games, not 2D games.
Is it sort of like how Ben 10 was on my top 30, but it's all nostalgia based, even though I admit he's not a great character.
Yes, Banjo also has like, if you saw him, he's literally Goofy but a bear. Like
A bear!
voice, silhouette, attitude. Also, the game has like a lot of weird maturity issues where it's like aimed at kids, but nothing but teenagers played it because it had like so many adult jokes out in front, not hidden.
So basically, Turning Red.
Yeah, but like amp it up to like 90s edgy. Also, the whole thing of getting him to like the whole I feel like people love third edition bait, especially for like Tron right now. What else? You know how things when people really want a sequel or a revival. This game had it in the early 2000s because it wasn't a Nintendo franchise. It was a Rare thing, but it was only
We're
played-
living in the age of revivals. I mean,
Yeah.
Matrix Resurrection.
I mean, this 90s character who hasn't appeared on something since the failed third entry, quote unquote, even though it was like a side game it was a car making game. There's no cars in that universe, really. When Microsoft bought it from Nintendo, they pretty much kind of held him in limbo so that he couldn't really be applied to anything because the last game they tried to make with it on Xbox failed. And then all these years later, Smash is like doing like one of their announcements of a new fighter DLC. And everyone's like, oh man, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? No one was expecting Banjo, really. You know, remember Michael in high school?
Yeah.
Always on a 3DS.
Yep.
We were watching the live thing of the announcement, and the second we saw, because the thing revolves around collecting puzzle pieces, when we saw one bounce in the trailer because they played it live, I think I actually broke his shoulder because I like you're both of you aren't
Yeah.
like huggers. You're not like closely. We were both like staring at the screen, wait in anticipation. He was like, he's not going to be in. They're never going to get him. They're never going to like comply with him. Dude, when I tell you, I squealed out loud. This is like when we're chilling in the hallways doing our math class assignments.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing my math class.
No
assignments.
one did.
It was the last day. It was the last day of junior year, I want to say, sorry, I'm just recollecting. Yeah, I like shook him and I was squealing. Yeah, dude, that was probably the most like giddy I ever got because when something actually lives up to the hype and I'm not like fronting or like facading, I was like a kid again. It was so weird for something I was like secondhand nostalgic with.
It feels weird to think that 2019 was 3 years ago.
Listen, no.
I still remember.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I still remember seeing John Wick 3 in the theater. I still remember seeing Escape Room in the theater, and that was 2018.
Infinity War. Sorry.
We feel
Darn.
old and we're not old.
I was just saying.
Crash. I said Crash Bandicoot again.
I didn't have
Banjo Kazooie.
That was PS1. I had an N64. But yeah, my number 10 is Banjo Kazooie because, epic game character.
Epic game. Epic nostalgia.
Yeah, but not epic games because I don't like Fortnite.
Yeah. So, going on to number 9. My number 9 character is Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride. Again, if you know me, you could see this one coming a mile away. Like, Princess Bride has been ingrained in my mind since I don't even remember when I first saw it, but it was just always there. I remember, like, middle school it must have been, I had a shirt that was the classic, hello, my name is, but it was, hello, my name is,
Yes.
and then you read in, Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die.
And it was in the movie font too. I think that was the magic.
Exactly. There's just something about The Princess Bride and how witty the movie is. But more specifically, just how witty, but at the same time, very polite everyone is.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they're about to kill you, they will still always be polite. And there's no one more polite in the movie than Inigo Montoya. He is a sportsman if ever there was one. When the Man in Black comes up when Wesley spoilers for this movie from the 80s. When the Man in Black comes up and he's supposed to kill him in the fight, and they both know that they have to kill each other for one to succeed. And Ego says, "No, wait till you're ready. Wait till you're ready. Then we will fight."
Mm-hmm.
And right before they fight, it's a pity. What was the quote? It's blanking on me.
What when he says
There it is. You seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you. You seem a decent fellow. I hate to die.
So,
I love that.
I was
Kinda
gonna say,
cool.
so well written.
And just even though he's so polite and such a kind soul, he's such a vengeful soul too. All of his entire adult life has just been dedicated to avenging his father. And even when he's there and he's facing his father's killer, he just goes into panic mode when the slightest bit of "I can't do it. He's going to get away. I can't let him get away."
Hmm.
And then again, like I mentioned this last week, but it bears mentioning again that scene where he finally gets the revenge, and he just keeps saying, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." He finally gets his revenge. It's one of the most satisfying moments in all of cinematic history, and if anyone says otherwise, they are either lying
Haven't seen it,
or wrong.
or they just haven't seen it, and then they have no valid opinion.
Well, if you haven't seen it by now, like, if you're by our age and you haven't seen it by now, what are you doing?
Go.
Yeah,
Watch it. Now.
it's one of the best movies ever made, and at the same time one of the most cheesiest movies ever made. It's so good. So my number 9, Inigo Montoya.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
A number 9, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, 2 number 45s.
Why do I know that?
and a
That's
lot-
Grand Theft Auto. Why do I know
San
that?
Andreas, because it's a meme, obviously.
Yeah.
So my number 9 large, my number. Okay. Now you might be fooled. You might be very fooled. What do you think? What do you think it is?
Okay, this is the Samurai Jack theme, but it's not Samurai Jack. It is the villain, right?
You might think it's Aku. Aku is awesome, but I love him for all the same reasons that I would love someone like Uncle Iroh. But no, it's actually a red herring. You want to take a second guess? See if you know. If you can just,
Well, considering the fact that I have never seen Samurai Jack.
It's unexpected. I know. It's a special occasion. The Scotsman from Samurai Jack.
I have no idea who this character is.
They met in the funniest way possible. I'm gonna turn that down.
No, by all means, play it. Play it up.
Scotland forever. In Samurai Jack, one of the best supporting characters, I think, in a Cartoon Network show, who owns the stage every time he's featured, he has a machine gun for a leg. Like, he doesn't. He has,
What?
His peg leg is a machine gun. So he literally just lifts it up his kilt and just,
That is the third most awesome thing I've ever seen.
If you just look up a picture of him,
Yeah, I'm looking up a picture right now.
he's pretty much just John DiMaggio, but more Scottish, I guess. Jake Bender, the
Yeah.
Scotsman. I think you might love him the most, honestly. The way they met was the funniest thing ever. Jack was crossing a bridge, and he hears this distant, awful noise, and then it gets closer and closer, and he thinks he's about to fight a giant figure because he thinks it's a war drum.
I'm looking at pictures right now, and yeah, he has a machine gun for a leg.
He thinks,
But he also has a sword, which I respect.
oh, dude, no, I
That's
want.
a claymore right there.
As I say, don't look at any more pictures of spoilers because it's a really cool introduction. The way they meet, though, he makes Jack's god-infused sword look like a butter knife because of his claymore, because of his Scottish enchanted claymore. And he's like, if you can't dodge a sword, I can just lift up me kilt and just. And he fires a couple shots off in the air because he doesn't want to have to move to cross the bridge. Because it's like a board and rope bridge.
Do you ever find out what his actual name is?
The Scotsman.
That's his legal name.
Where he's from. Where do you think he's from?
Glasgow.
Oh my god. No, but there's the Scotsmen. There's like the Scotsmen, the people. The Scots people. the Scots. Like, they're just
The
called Scots.
Scots.
And then he's the Scotsman. Like,
That's his legal name.
I'm pretty sure he has like a first name, but everyone knows him as, oh, that's the Scotsman. And if you ask the Scots, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's the Scotsman. Well,
I'm looking up his Wikipedia right now just so I can see if he has an actual name.
no, dude, he's the Scotsman.
He's 6'6".
Yeah, dude, he's huge. He's I think one of the like strongest human characters in the show.
Whisper John DiMaggio.
Yeah. But pretty much he is one of the embodiments of,
He is just the Scotsman.
yes.
That's his legal name.
Yes, I told you.
Amazing.
There's the Scots, and there's like other giant Scottish dudes like that, but he's the Scotsman, the Scot among Scots. That's why he's like, the one that they send out to carry out whatever mission or something. But yeah, for him, I just love how every time he appears in the show, he steals the show.
Yeah. He's a show stealer. He's
He
a show stealer because he has such a bright personality.
He also has like a really cool backing thing, like with family and history. Like in the show, they explore a lot of that. That show has so much culture, and it's actually really amazing, especially for something that takes place like way far in the future. It like goes back to its roots every time. It's cool, like historical roots for every culture on the planet.
So, you're number 9?
Yes, he's also the reason Jack became one of the strongest characters because he taught him stone tossing. When you have like strong men, they have to do like the stone lift and then they throw it behind them like a shock put.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, my number 9, the Scotsman, Samurai Jack.
All right. My number 8 feels very cathartic because I wanted to put him in my top 10 heroes list so badly, but he didn't define what it was to be a hero enough. However, we're going free range on this. So my number 8 favorite character of all time is Doctor Strange.
Not bad at all.
Doctor Strange, in my opinion, is in many ways the most relatable character, in my opinion, because he follows.
You got a Lambo?
No, because
You got a 4.0?
No.
You a neurosurgeon?
I time travel a lot. I
That's
time
just
travel a lot,
regression.
and
That's regression and nostalgia you're talking about.
I time travel and I break the laws of reality a lot soon.
I
Because
just break the law.
even though I admire a lot of the characters from the MCU, Doctor Strange is the only one where every time I'm watching either one of his a movie he's in, or in the case of What If, an episode of a TV show that he's in, every single decision that he has to make, I think of something. I think of, okay, in my shoes I would do this, but in your shoes, and then he does that. Every single time that he makes a decision, I'm like, yeah, logically I would do the same thing.
The What If Strange is the writer's playground, in the best way possible.
Exactly.
I think he's the only character besides Inigo Montoya that can match movie sarcasm without it being quippy and like a cop out for comedy over like a dramatic thing. It's like, no, that's literally him coping with the weight of the multiverse on his hands.
Exactly. Like when in No Way Home, when he has to actually send all the villains back to their universes, even though he knows full well the points where they came from, they were going to die. But the point that he says that in the vastness of the multiverse, there are an infinite number of people who know Peter Parker or Spider-Man, and if they all break through, they're all coming here. There's only one way to do this, and it is send them back. And when he puts it like that, I'm like, no, he's right. I would do the same thing. In the vastness of the multiverse, you can't break this.
And it's not like he's sending refugees back from a war-torn place. Like, no, these guys were on the brink of trying to harm someone who is actively saving multiple people per day.
And in the case of Doc Ock, he was about to destroy all of New York and send them all hurtling into a sun that he created.
And into the ocean. Like, he was going to sink it, like...
The river.
Yeah.
Drown it.
Drown it. The power of the sun.
And also, every time that Doctor Strange is in a movie, I can always count that the visuals are going to be awesome.
Because it makes it more open-ended for them to, like, artists and writers' playground.
Like, in terms of pure spectacle. Why can't I say word
spectacle?
Spectacle. In terms of pure spectacle, his fight with Spider-Man in No Way Home, best scene in that movie in terms of spectacle.
It also helps us reveal things in perspective so well. Like, how can X keep up with Y? How can Spider-Man keep up with someone who knows multiple dimensions? Oh, Spidey's like senses can pick up in multiple dimensions. He can literally like measure with a web. He can actually the same way like Andrew Garfield's demonstrated. Oh, he can actually do like sound reverb tests with the fucking with the what is it called, the web.
Web.
He did like the trampoline effect with the web. It was when
Elasticity.
when he did the sewage in the sewer scene when Lizard was chasing him.
Vibrations.
Yeah, the vibrations. Sorry, I was like reverberations, vibrations, one of those.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah.
But, and also, my last point about why Doctor Strange is my 8th favorite character of all time. He has cape. His cape. I love cape. I love a good cape.
Cape is a dog character.
I love a cape on any character, and the fact that his interacts with him. Awesome. Love it.
And the collar is like whiskers.
Yes.
It's like his what's that napkin that people have, like fancy people in their suit pocket? It's a
handkerchief. It's a handkerchief.
His cape collar is a handkerchief.
I was about to say pocket square, but no, yours is more accurate.
I mean, pocket squares I think don't come out. I think they're actually the pocket, but it comes out to show the pattern on the inside.
Yeah.
It's like a flex. Adam Ruins Everything told you pocket square, right?
Yeah.
That is his biggest piece of misinformation because he doesn't have a pocket square. That was actually a handkerchief he had because he used it in another episode. He revealed. I think he said that on TikTok.
Yeah. So, my 8th favorite character of all time, and my favorite character in the MCU. Sorry, Thanos. It is Doctor Strange.
Understandable, especially just likability as a character, not just appreciable.
Likability, and especially now with Multiverse of Madness, like a couple weeks away, like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. So
my number 8, Doctor Strange.
Excuse me, my number 8. Actually, another video game. It is a first-person shooter. It was, I think it's still one of my. I think it is actually like
Master Chief.
No, you're in the ballpark though. Armored guy.
Character from Doom.
No, that's Doom guy. He's not green. I'll give you that.
I'm gonna raise the volume of it since I want to guess. Good theme though.
Yeah. It's also not technically the main character. It is another like supporting character. The same way that you love Cape. My favorite,
Is it Dom from?
No, I guess it's pretty niche, even though it's like still a huge game. BT from Titanfall.
That's why I don't know.
Yeah, it's BT has Master Chief's attitude, but he more quickly adapts. He's like if you literally mashed. If you took the human out of Master Chief and took the AI of Cortana and gave Cortana Chief's personality, like very. I don't tolerate sarcasm. Like finish the mission. He's the mech. BT is the main character's mech that he fights in, and BT's like the AI. He's like the main character is a pilot. Pilots can like wall run. They have grappling hooks.
Now that you've compared him to both Master Chief and Cortana, all I'm thinking of is how disappointing Halo is right now.
And
the show.
Yes,
Halo.
yes. Halo the series, not worth anything. I'm sorry. I gave it a good chance too. You saw me.
I'm still following the show just so that I can just watch season 1, review season 1, say that I don't like season 1, and be done with the show.
Did you see the Doom movie?
The Dune or Doom?
Doom.
Oh, the one with Chris Rock? Not Chris Rock.
Wrong
Rock.
Wrong Rock. I'm gonna throw the Radio Rock at you too.
The Rock.
But yeah, did you see it? Because I did not.
I saw it in bits and pieces.
Do you know if it has a good rating or not?
I know it has a bad rating.
As a Doom movie, I think as just an action, like shoot 'em up movie, it's not bad, but it's just not a good Doom movie.
But Titanfall.
Titanfall, I say, is probably the best first-person shooter made.
Really?
Deserves a 3, but instead, once again, because trilogies are hard for game studios, seriously, they struggle to count the 3 so much. But when they do, it's amazing. Titanfall 2 is probably like my second favorite game ever.
It's number 1.
Actually, no. Titanfall is my number 1. Well, wait. You got me with Red Dead.
Yep.
Sorry, I was like, there's a close one up. Actually, yeah. Arthur was also my runner-up. Besides,
there you go.
it was It went Rico, Arthur, BT.
So-
I had equally as much emotion. If I played Red Dead first instead of Titanfall, Arthur would have came first.
So BT.
Yes, BT from Titanfall, the mech, the AI, quickly adapts to the main character as he's kind of like a lost puppy in the same way that like Cape kind of is to Strange. Pretty much, if you could give a machine PTSD in the most messed up way, because he has like 3 protocols. It's fight, defend, protect the pilot. Like the pilot comes first and foremost, to the point where he actually disobeys their the same way that Chief disobeyed the UNSC in Titanfall. They disobeyed the colony. I think they just call it the colony. The entire story, I love it, and I loved BT more because the main character was supposed to be like, you're supposed to like ride through the eyes of him.
You love the loyalty of BT.
And I love how he quickly adapts to become more funny and interesting and explains everything, but not just dialogue feed. It's just like,
he's your favorite version of a Hufflepuff.
Sure. I get nice. He's more Ravenclaw because he's more cold and calculating.
Well,
but he's not like cold and harsh. It's more like, I will step on this sentient machine. I don't care if it knows me personally. He just stomps it out. But I think this is also like recent nostalgia. I just love the character and how funny he is and how memorable. And I think we deserve to see them come back again. And I'm still mad that I think you've heard of Apex Legends. It's another.
I've heard of it.
It's technically same universe. It's like an indirect sequel. It was teased at the end of Titanfall 2, and the main character from Titanfall was supposed to be in it, but then it became its own thing after it like didn't have to compete with like Fortnite and all that when like around like 2019ish, because now it became its own thing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much why I'm like, man, I want a Titanfall 3. Everyone wants a Titanfall 3, to the point where the developers don't support the game on its servers. They get hacked, they get bugged, they go down. So independent groups, I think it's called like North Star, they made a custom thing of the game just with their own servers, just with all like custom modes and stuff. And I just love the character too, because you can play as a story character in online, which you can't do in anything else.
All right, so BT
from Titanfall, very kind of niche for this.
Niche in the way that not many of us are that into. Well,
if you play
for me personally,
yeah,
I'm not
if you play games like a nerd like that, then you'll know him.
Yeah. On the subject of Hufflepuffs and Ravenclaws, I just realized I did not put any Harry Potter characters.
No way.
Nope.
I mean, honestly, if you're trying not to go for something so obvious, that's why.
Oh no, most of my list is very obvious. It's just I didn't pick any Harry Potter characters to be on. I'm not even a runner-up.
Weird.
I just realized. All right. So, going back to
you wanted to edit your list right then and there, didn't you?
No, I didn't, because I'm looking at my list and I'm like, nope, proud of it.
Gotcha.
Speaking of very, very obvious picks, my number 7 is Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones, the Dinklage himself.
Honestly, early on watching, I knew he was straight up going to be my favorite character for a while, wasn't he?
He is the slapper of Joffrey, which immediately makes him one of the best characters in the show, and that's only in the 2nd episode.
When he was on the tilted prison cell, where he couldn't sleep or else he'll roll off, that actually kept me up at night thinking about something like that falling.
I'm sure that in medieval times, something like that actually existed.
That and the rat chamber.
Oh yeah, the rat chamber.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about that live.
But Peter Dinklage, there were Peter Dinklage. Tyrion Lannister.
Peter Dinklage. Wait.
No.
Hold up.
Tyrion Lannister is one of the characters who manages to find that perfect in-between in terms of Game of Thrones. He is always... You always root for him. You always think that he is the most morally good you can get in Game of Thrones while never being stupid. Because even with, like, Ned Stark and Jon Snow, even though they are the most morally good, they often make very stupid decisions because of their naivety and their, like, overall goodness. Tyrion is always on the side of good. You never think he's going to do something morally wrong, but he's always smart about it. If it's strategic to keep a secret for someone for the greater good, he will do it.
The greater good.
One of my favorite moments of him is an episode where he has to narrow where he's in the position of power that Ned Stark was in. But Ned Stark left that position because someone ratted him out. So he has to figure out who ratted him out and how can I get rid of the rat. So he tells three of the advisors of the king that he plans to wed one of the king's siblings to one of the princes of one of the seven kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
But for all three individuals, he says that he's going to marry her to a different house. The moment that the king's mother comes to Tyrion and says that he is going to wed him to one of the castles, that's when he knows who's the rat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he gets rid of the rat.
Oh.
And his strategic mindset is like unparalleled in terms of Game of Thrones. But at the same time, he's one of the most likable characters on Game of Thrones, and he's one of the most morally good characters on Game of Thrones. He led the battle. Yes, I know you're playing Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage. I'm not playing it.
You should turn up the volume. You should turn up the volume while you're talking.
But
Turn up the
No.
volume. Turn up the volume. The people know what they want to hear. You villain. You mongrel. Turn that up.
Dinklage,
Yeah, there you
Watch-
go.
Yeah, watch your volume.
Dinklage,
Yeah,
Peter
there you go.
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
I played it. I'm talking right now. I'm talking right now. No memes. I'm talking right now. I'm talking. No memes.
Talk.
Even though he is very much referred to as the half man and very mocked and very ridiculed, he has led whole armies into battle and won. Even though one time he got knocked out right before the battle, he still led them, and the other time he full on won with them.
Mm.
And then he was betrayed. But
He's a full man in battle.
he's a full man in battle. He's a half man to everyone else. And if there was anyone who deserved to sit on the Iron Throne, it was Tyrion. He deserved it. But he didn't. And instead, he decided who should sit on it. And it's someone who didn't deserve it. And his justification was not right. I hate... I love Game of Thrones, but the justification about who should sit on the Iron Throne, by the end of it, nope.
Just wasn't it.
Nope. But that does not change the fact that Tyrion Lannister is amazing. He's one of the best. I think everyone can agree, everyone who's seen the show at least, that he is the best character, that he is one of, if not the best character on Game of Thrones. And in my opinion, he is the best. And he is one of my all-time favorite characters, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, my number 7, Tyrion Lannister.
Tyrion Lannister. Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage.
Yes. No memes. No memes. I'm justifying.
Peter Dinklage. So, my.
Yep.
Excuse me.
You're number 7.
Numero 7. It's actually an Avatar character.
Okay, let me guess. Zuko.
Nope, that's you.
Aang.
Nope, obvious.
Cabbage Guy.
That's number 3. Number 2 was Spark. Well, no, he's number 4. It goes Cabbage Guy, Sparky Boom Man, Boomy, and actually Wang Shi Tong. Turn up the volume, you goof.
Yeah, it's all the way up.
No, it's not. You lied.
It's not all the way up.
Turn
though.
it up. You goof.
Oh wow, his theme is very quiet.
Yeah,
I had to turn it all the way up.
It's the library. He's the librarian.
Yeah.
You don't get it, man. But yeah, Wang
He's
Shi
the
Tong.
librarian. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, right? He
Justify that. Yeah, I'm interested.
think about it. That entire arc in the desert. I love arcs in the desert for characters. For,
Arcs in the desert.
yeah, when the characters go through arcs in the desert, you see their struggle, you see them at their most vulnerable, what they value the most, who they value the most, and we explore history, especially with Wang Shi Tong's library. We see
First edition. Very nice.
We see greed, we see interest, and we see boredom, especially from Sokka. But Wang Tong, I'd say, is the creepiest. Besides the
Oh yeah.
besides
The face stealer.
yes, because that was more like hold your breath kind of scene. Wang Tong, it's more like I really just hope I don't lock eyes with him at all. I hope I don't brush.
I feel like with Wang Tong, if my hair was out of place, if one hair was out of place on me,
He'd like peck it off.
no, he would just kill me right away.
Oh yeah, no, he would.
He
just,
would
like,
peck me like right away, and all of a sudden, I would look down like, oh, my heart's out of my body.
yeah.
That's nice.
It's terrifying to imagine with characters like that. What would they do if the main characters weren't important enough to keep?
And when he goes into attack mode and his
Yeah, he
neck
does,
just
yeah.
extends like, we messed up.
Have you ever seen an owl skeleton? You ever think about how they are like
They're hilariously.
they are a folded chair.
Yeah.
And when you see him uncoil, they beautifully do it where with the long hallways of the library.
I want to know who voiced him. I'm gonna look that up
I'm
right
gonna
now.
assume D. Bradley Baker because he's always an animalistic actor. Think about it. With Appa, what person do you know can make that like noise of an animal? Is it D. Bradley Baker?
Wang Tong voice.
Yeah.
There you go.
For me though, yeah, I just
Heck. Oh,
who is it?
it's not him.
No?
It's I'm gonna butcher his name. It's Hector Elizondo, who I do recognize.
Yeah, who is he?
He was
know.
in Last Man Standing. He was in both Princess Bride movies. He was in Pretty Woman. He was in.
He's got to be like one of those. He's in everything, and we don't attach a name to his character. We attach to his character.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some. I'm trying to look at his filmography. He
Of
was
the
in the Lego Batman movie, apparently.
So yeah, he's definitely like, and he's like a Phil Lamar, where he's also in everything, but you don't pick up on it until you look for his wavelength in the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how scary Avatar can get, and I think Korra stepped more into the messed up, like how complex can things get with time. Avatar was like how deep rooted and evil, no, like betrayed.
I feel
greedy.
like Korra got politically. How can we get politically evil?
I still think Avatar was politically charged. Korra was more modernist about it,
I feel like
or modern-ish.
I feel like what I know from what I've seen from Amon, what I know from Zahir, I feel like that those and there was the one Earth Kingdom woman that I don't know her name, but seems very politically charged.
Think about the Dai Li for a minute too,
Yeah.
as a surveillance state pre-technology like that. Just the creepy stuff like that. The Dai Li, Wang Tong. Wang Tong.
There is no war in Boston Say.
There is no war in Bossing Say. Wang Tong explores the knowledge cannot be perverted by greed or destruction. Or
He
by
would
war.
be disgusted if you said knowledge is power.
No, he would say, or he would like pat you on the head like, good.
No, I don't think he would do that. I think he would say knowledge is not power. Knowledge is knowledge. And the fact that you think that means you are going
To use it for your own power.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I was saying like he would just
He is a literal Ravenclaw.
if it was like if it was like a kid who walked in and said that, he'd be like, no, like pat them on the head. Knowledge is to be used.
No, I don't even think that because he was fully ready to kill a whole bunch
Squad
of
of kids. Yeah, never mind. I'm wrong. Yeah, Wang Chi.
He would kill anyone if you said the wrong word. Dead.
Because it's not knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And in the library, you're supposed to be knowledgeable. But yeah,
You're not very bright, are you?
it's nice. I feel like he's the exploration also of how deeply can we explore preservation of information without it being destroyed by time. That's fine, but by like on purpose.
I feel like he
as
is
a
the
weapon?
type of character that, like Supernatural's version of Death, I feel like is
he's
too
balanced.
big.
He's not death.
Is too big to be completely understood, is completely mysterious, and feels like he is behind most things that we can't explain.
You know, I theorize though
I feel
the
like if
professor who was exploring the library with them, I don't think he died when it sunk. I think he actually just became something of a not a spirit, but like someone
he
who
Wang Tong, you feel respected his, like, you are willing to die for knowledge. that I can respect.
And I don't think he ever ran out of things to read in the spirit world, or
Yeah.
he never ran out of things to ponder with that much knowledge ahead of him. Because
Wang
he
Shitong is-
didn't need to be alive; he just needed to know.
Wang Shitong is such a big character that I feel like if he existed in real life, he would have been behind the sinking of Atlantis and all that sort of stuff.
Because whatever warring nation was just trying to use how much information it had again.
Yes.
Every time. I feel like that's just what his reason for like cutting out the use of the library is that he hates misinformation. That's it. He hates the weaponization of knowledge.
What was I gonna think? What was the one village where what was the one colony U.S. colony where suddenly every single person in the village vanished and there was only one word left? What was it?
One word?
There was only one word left.
Rwanda?
Nope. It was a U.S. colony.
A U.S. colony? Was it Puerto Rico? Was it Panama? It was a couple of colonies.
Well, it was one of the 13.
Oh, okay. Oh, it might have been Jamestown?
Jamestown. Not Jamestown. What was the one?
Was it a witch event? Was it a slaughter? Oh, was it?
Croatoan.
Hmm?
It was the one. There was the one colony that completely vanished off the face of the earth. Every single person, and there was this one word that was left on. I don't know where it was, but there was this one word. And it was just Croatoan. I feel like if Wang Shitong existed in real life, he would have been behind that.
He would have just sunk the whole village for that.
Nope. He would have been behind everyone disappearing and only one word being left.
Mm-hmm. It would have just been knowledge. Or just
Knowledge.
But yeah.
So Wang Shitong is your number 7?
Yes.
I feel, wow, both of our number 7s are very knowledgeable.
Yep. I'd say Wang Shitong and your
Death.
Yeah, Horseman of Death, isn't it?
Horseman of Death, but it's
It's
Death.
Death, yeah.
We just call him Death.
So yeah.
We just, like, I know him. We just call him Death.
Yeah, I know him personally.
I know Death personally.
Tell me your number 6.
Yeah, my number 6. I'm going to be honest. My number 5 and my number 6, I interchanged every single day until today. But I feel confident in saying that my number 6. Prince Vegeta!
Oh, really?
Yes!
No way.
Yes! Because I'm gonna be honest, over the past couple weeks, I tried to trim out the fat of Dragon Ball Super
Mm-hmm.
and watch the important stuff. Vegeta grew as a character way more than I ever thought he would.
In Super?
From the first time we saw him in Dragon Ball Z, which I will admit, immediately he was one of my favorite characters there. He's so awesome. And he just wants to be the best. He just wants to be the best. He feels betrayed when he realizes constantly Goku, this commoner, Kakarot, son of some soldier, is better than him, the prince of a planet that he is named after. How can this be possible? And then eventually in Super, he learns that, no, my quest for power means nothing. It is just loneliness. And if I were to become a god, I would have to leave behind Bulma, Bola, Trunks, his brother, everything. He fights for them constantly. And eventually he does learn that even though he does want to be stronger than Goku all the time, it's more of a casual sort of thing nowadays.
It's more of a casual competition, not like a actual, going to upstage you.
And when he faces off against Goku Black and he realizes that Goku Black has just taken the body of Goku and is not an actual Saiyan, he feels personally insulted.
Mm-hmm.
You are taking over the body of a being who has had tons and tons and tons of training and has fought constantly, and you are going to assume that role?
It's like copyright. He's just taking someone's work.
You are going to assume that role without any of the responsibility? Mm-hmm. No. Kakarot deserves better. My people deserve better. I deserve better. You're a dead man.
He was seeking pride by that point.
He was a prideful person, but he was prideful not for himself, but for everyone around him, for the people that he holds most dear. And essentially, that has to include Goku because They are the only two. They are one of the only few full-blooded Saiyans left.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot that can be said that other than just Vegeta is freaking awesome.
You're gonna really laugh at my number 6.
Oh, and if there's any naysayers out there, just remember, how dare you? That's my Bulma.
Dude.
That is the epitome of character development.
You wanna know my number 6 real quick because it's just gonna flow. I promise.
All right, so right before we say my number 6, Prince Vegeta.
No, I think you're gonna die laughing when you realize what my number 6 was. This is not planned, guys.
Goku.
Even closer.
Gohan.
Closer to yours.
Trunks.
Yep.
Oh,
Right, like literally, like next obvious step past Vegeta.
wow. I was weirded out when both of our number 7s were about wisdom.
Mhm.
Number 6 is just Dragon Ball characters.
No, straight up, like
Yeah.
blood close. That's how close.
Yeah.
I like Trunks for pretty much all the same reason that you like Vegeta, but I think Trunks embodies what Gohan should have had, what Goku can have, what Vegeta wants to have, but at the same time, he doesn't have a lot of what the others have. He has only the better parts of, if that makes sense. Like Gohan.
He is the best of all of the sums that made up who he was.
But yeah, for Trunks, a Saiyan with a sword,
Oh yeah,
best thing ever. The way
he never really uses the sword all that much.
But when he does, Frieza turns into a bouquet of Frieza slices. Like, he just kind of gets diced. I love an apocalypse story. I do love a good like indirect apocalypse though.
Now you just made me sad.
Why?
I just remembered Gohan.
Yeah. But by that point, we saw in Super. Or are you just thinking about like Gohan at the end of the Cell saga?
I'm thinking of Gohan in the History of Trunks movie, where we see he died. He did.
Yeah.
And that was the whole reason why Trunks was a Super Saiyan. Like,
yeah.
oh, I sad now.
The same way that Gohan was pushed just by everyone around him with expectations to be the best that he had to be, because he probably could have surpassed Goku if he wanted to. Shut up. No Pokemon here. This is Dragon Ball. We're cooler than them. He ain't beating Goku. None of them are. Literally none of them, I think.
Except maybe Mewtwo.
Maybe. Even then, him and Frieza are literally like...
Maybe a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah. Legendary super Pokemon. But
why do I know this?
Frieza and Mewtwo are also just inverts of each other, if you like them. Like, one's just top heavy, one's bottom heavy. Shut up. But yeah, for Trunks, I love how much he gets pushed and how much is backing him in terms of character, story, family, events. And I love a good time travel story from him because his keeps up with Back to the Future style time travel. There's a multiverse, but it's not that kind of multiverse, you know? Because
it's butterfly effect sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's also like a J-shaped timeline because when he jumps back, it does affect it in that it keeps it like. It rings it through. Yeah. I keep thinking like, it reverberates through the timeline, and I like that whole thing. Him versus Cell, it's pretty freaking cool. Every time he's always
wait, which Cell? Perfect Cell or Imperfect Cell?
Perfect Cell when he used his time machine and came back, and we had to.
Oh, that was Imperfect Cell. Sorry.
That was Imperfect.
That was Imperfect. Than who he killed.
I thought he had to shrink himself down to fit in the time pod too. When he shrunk himself back down to a seed so that he would fit in the time machine.
And he shrunk himself down from Imperfect Cell and then just
sprouted up. He sprouted out. It's like the coolest build up to a villain.
Yeah.
And I love starts in the middle. Trunks' story starts in the middle. It's like, wait, why is there two time machines? Oh wait, that is my time machine. It's such a cool build up. That's why it's my favorite saga. And then in Super, he keeps going, and we see more of his sword action. We see.
Don't shoot! He's not black.
He's not Goku Black. He's not Goku Black. They need to dub that.
Yeah, they need to overdub that.
Seriously, you don't what's his name?
Yeah, sorry if you're hearing this out of context, but that's an actual line.
They're talking about Goku Black. They're saying don't, like, because they abbreviate.
The evil Goku.
They abbreviate.
That's not
They
Who is it? He's
context. They abbreviate the evil one who's just using a clone body of Goku, basically.
and he's dressed in black.
Yeah,
He's dressed in black.
And when they say they're abbreviating parentheses, don't shoot Goku in parentheses black. That's such a horrible thing to hear out of context.
Yeah.
Especially when you like parents walk past and they're like, why is your cartoon saying that?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for Trunks though, I do love, especially when we go further with Zamasu. That's his name. Zamasu. I want to make sure I'm not mixing up with God. What's his name? It's like,
Gears?
no, God.
Oh, yeah.
You know
I
what
know
I'm
who
talking
you're
about. But yeah, I don't know why his name always escapes. It's Zamasu, who is in control of Goku Black's body. I just love their fight in general and like the build up to it, because it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm just going to squat and scream for 25 more minutes. It's like, no, I'm actually going to do something that might rip me or us or everything apart and see if it works. It works, cool. I'm going to decimate everything that's already decimated. And it's like, no, my sword is now a beam of raw energy because I can't go I can't go, what's his name? What's Super Saiyan Blue? He can't go Super Saiyan Blue. He just goes.
Which is still weird that it's just abbreviated to Super Saiyan Blue.
No, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Just like
I would just call that at that point. I would just call it Super Saiyan God.
They don't
because
know
you can just do it by yourself.
They don't know how. Well, Super Saiyan God is different from Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan, or what's his name? Abbreviating names or just stacking titles. They don't know how to. It's like, okay, Super Saiyan 1 to 3, or just Super Saiyan up to Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. Okay, slow down. All right, in the movies, it gets Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Super Bro. Is that Dragon Ball Super Superheroes? Super. Okay, I thought you stuttered. No, that's the actual title. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it goes well. It's gonna be a great movie. I trust it. They're taking so much time with it. Same way with Broly. Delays are great because you know
In
it's
Akira
gonna be good.
Toriyama, we trust.
Unfortunately, yeah. Sometimes it's gold. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's
Sometimes
What's that one? What is it? Dragon Ball.
Sometimes you just have to get through the arc where
Sometimes it's
Piccolo and
GT.
Goku have to learn to drive.
Sometimes it's GT. Which technically isn't that supposed to take place way further in the future than Super? I think.
I think so. Yeah.
But it's not canon. It's just
No.
if that as a sequel takes place just way further in the future. But yeah,
I
I
just-
love Trunks. I love him as something to explore.
Choosing which Dragon Ball Z characters I would put on my list, I quickly realized that a lot of my favorite moments of these characters are from the Abridged series.
Abridged does it well. Abridged does do it well.
Do you remember when in Abridged, when he faced off against Perfect Cell, and Perfect Cell is taunting him, and he says, "Does Gohan know, by the way? Know about what? That you let him die." And then the waves crash, and he's just like, "I'm gonna power up now."
I love it.
Ah,
I just love Trunks isn't a vessel for the audience to run through like Goku is. He's not just a pride issue or a competition like Vegeta. He's both of those and neither of those. And he's just a nice thing to explore the same way people in their heads want to explore. Well, if Gohan reached his full potential, no, we'll never know. But for Trunks, we did know, and it's amazing. So yeah, my number 6.
I just have
Trunks.
I just have to quote Dragon Ball Z again. I'm impressed. Underneath all of that smarm, there's a real fighter. And underneath all of that smarm is a dead man.
I love Abridged. I'm not gonna lie. Not everyone. I don't
And then Cell just retorts like, "Trunks, you couldn't fathom the amount of dead men behind me." That's from the comedic series, and that's in more awesome dialogue than most of the actual series. Yeah. So, going on to our top 5. This was a tough. Like I said, this was a tough one between 5 and 6. It was always going to be between Prince Vegeta or Zuko. I finally found it.
Zuko!
I've been looking for a version of the Fire Nation theme for so long, and I
With
finally found it.
With the final Agni Kai attachment?
Yes.
Man.
So, Prince Zuko, I mean, we're talking about character arcs.
Yeah, I knew he had to be up there, dude.
Dude.
Dude. I mean,
How many scenes of him where he is so cool because God. At first, you just view him as just a straight up bad guy, but the more the series goes on, even though he's mostly a bad guy, you still feel for him because you know more about his background and
You
just
feel his pain.
and just how much he's been persecuted and literally scarred by his family, tortured by his family, both physically by his father and mentally by Azula, to the point where as a child, he is sitting in his bed trying to fall asleep to Azula always lies. Azula always lies. Azula always lies.
And he never really knew how to cope with it. He only had like one person who could help him out, and even then it was like just words. Iroh couldn't really take any action with him besides go with him everywhere.
And the poor guy, before he joined Team Avatar, before he saved Appa from the Dai Li, before all of that, he tried to save an entire Earth Kingdom village. And the moment they found out that he was the Prince of the Fire Nation, they turned on him. That hurts. And this was a kid's show, by the way. They turned on him.
I wish I had Iroh in, honestly. He would have definitely made the list. He's my top honorable mention under Avatar.
And then in the final season, I'm pretty sure it's the third to last episode, where he's just so sorry that he had to betray his uncle, and then Iroh has his back to him, and Zuko is just crying like, I am so sorry I let you down. And then Iroh just hugs him. How could you forgive me after all I've done? I thought you would be angry. I was never angry. I was sad because I thought you lost your way. Like, oh.
Think about it too. That's like Zuko is Iroh's pretty much indirect son by that point, and he thought he was going to lose another the same way, that he couldn't just act on it.
He was looking for his destiny throughout 2/3 of the show, and when he finally found it, it wasn't what he thought it would be.
He was looking for himself too.
He was looking for his identity, and his identity was that he needed to end the war by ending his line.
And he did get his honor.
And he got his honor back because he announced the war was over, and he did it right by the Avatar's side.
Mm-hmm. His destiny wasn't to kill the Avatar; it was to restore his honor.
It was to become friends with him.
Mm-hmm. Or he never really had the honor. He was trying to instate his honor.
Like, we've talked about Prince Zuko so much on the show and just Avatar in general.
Because there's so much.
There's so much to talk about. Like, again, with Prince Vegeta, because we've talked about Dragon Ball so much on the show, do I need to justify this any further?
Need I say?
Yeah. My number 5, my halfway mark, it is Prince / Fire Lord Zuko. And I was between Vegeta and Zuko because it was between the two fallen princes.
Mm-hmm.
And only one of them truly restored his honor. And that is Zuko.
It's beautiful. So you're?
My number 5, Prince / Fire Lord Zuko.
My number 5. My number 5, excuse me.
Yeah, sorry. We both had slip tongue.
I love Saul Goodman.
Okay, so wow, I'm surprised this one.
On the line, actually, we can actually call Saul if you wanted to.
Yes.
Do you want to call Saul?
Yes.
We haven't done a lot of call-ins recently.
I want to call Saul.
But if you call 505-503-4455, you can in fact call Saul.
Call it right now, since you're on World. Call it right now.
Calling.
Yeah, we're just gonna wait for. Okay.
You guys want to call Saul live on radio?
Yeah, we're calling Saul right now.
You got legal trouble?
Hello, hola, yaate. You called Saul. You reached the offices of Saul Goodman and Associates, your one-stop shop for all things law. If they've accused you of breaking bad, better call Saul. If you're currently under arrest or in custody, follow my 3 patented rules. 1, keep your mouth shut. 2, keep your mouth shut. 3, don't make eye contact with anyone in a holding cell, unless you're looking to make a love connection. Visit my website for more free advice. BetterCallSaul.com. The solution to your problems is just minutes away. Your call is important to us. Please continue to hold.
That was Saul Goodman. I know, right? That's the actual phone number. Too. When you
I
look, all the
am.
billboards are actually legitimate
Yes.
numbers. Did you know that was actually a law? Because I think a music video had it, and or I forget what song it was. It was like 5 something something. But yeah, Saul Goodman, best lawyer in fiction. Can't name another. Don't say Matt Murdock. Come on, he's blind. Like he
Lawyer in fiction. Matt Murdock might be.
I'm saying, dude, Saul Goodman literally solves the impossible because he can.
Oh no, Atticus Finch. There you go.
Atticus Finch.
The only reason he lost was because he was arguing to a whole bunch of racists that a black man was innocent.
Saul Goodman could have defended him. I think.
He would have blackmailed the jury.
Yes, and he would have saved a free man. He would have.
Very true.
Atticus Finch is the most honorable, objectively best lawyer in fiction.
He's honorable, but to be the best lawyer, he can't really be honorable.
Saul crosses this beautiful line where everyone treats the law as such an abstract that cannot be apprehended or compromised, and Saul is like, well, no, I literally am riding the baseline at the very bottom, and I can bend all these laws upwards to the point where something so absurd, the judge can't actually intervene. They can't stop him. They can just be disappointed. You can't blacklist him. He's a lawyer. He's a public defender.
I really need to watch Better Call Saul because I've seen Breaking Bad, and I liked Saul in that, but he was never my favorite character.
But he was lovable.
If anything, I thought that Gus or Mike should have had the spinoff.
Yes. Actually, if you really like Mike, Better Call Saul is for you because he actually owns the show for the most part.
I've seen good clips of both Gus and Mike in the show.
Dude, I'm just saying, seeing Breaking Bad from like a wider angle lens, it's huge. Jesse was actually a runner-up as just one of my favorite characters because the same reason for Zuko, really, for that kind of like not failing upwards, but just like ripping his way from nothing.
Gus was an honorable mention. He was in my top 20.
Gus, he's so high up on my villains list. I don't think he's not. I love him as a character. He's not as impactful. He's impactful. Saul, I think, has that charm that makes these are my characters that I really like. List.
He had it like Saul had an entire introduction episode in Breaking Bad where he just stole the show, and by the end of the episode, you're like, I want to follow this guy. I want to follow this guy.
I want to know where this guy comes from, why he knows a guy who knows a guy. Who's the guy he knows that knows a guy?
Yeah.
And we know the guy who knows the guy.
By the end of it, he leaves Walter speechless. By the end of the episode that he premieres in.
It's awesome. Honestly, I just love Saul's character. It's hard to explain in words, really, besides him just being the most
Tom Odenkirk, I think is his name.
Bob Odenkirk.
Odenkirk, sorry.
Bob Odenkirk is a king, and he's amazing, and I'm so happy he's out of the hospital because I think he had just like a faint issue on set one time. That was like a big event too because he was like out for a minute.
Do you kind of wish that nobody was somewhat related to Saul's life? Like that was the life that he made for himself after Breaking Bad. After Breaking Bad,
we do find out that's the problem, and you find out pretty much. Like he is Breaking Bad, like Star Wars, starts in the middle, goes back, then goes forward, or it goes back. Yeah. It goes back and forth, but always starts in the middle.
It goes back because Breaking Bad happened before El Camino.
Yes.
No, not Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul.
Breaking Bad did come before El Camino, though.
No, I mean like in terms of which came out first.
Oh yeah.
Better Call Saul came out before El Camino.
Yes. But it was supposed to launch in 2018, so they were supposed to come out simultaneously, technically, because it was supposed to be like right off the movie and then go all the way to the start. So yeah. I just love stories like that. You start in the middle, and you can go either way, really. You can go straight forward in time, or you can go all the way to the back.
You start in the middle. Well, it's like Drunks. You can start in the middle, so you have your option. Where do you want to go?
Context or continuity.
Exactly.
Or both. You can do both, and they did both, and it's amazing. I love Saul as a character.
Context or continuity. That's a good quote. Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. We need that as a...
Write that down. You need that in... If you ever make an autobiography, that needs to be in it. That some of your favorite characters are continuity or context.
Context or continuity.
Yeah.
Or both.
Or both.
But yeah. that's definitely gonna be my autobiography title. Thank you.
There you go.
I'm gonna get the write that down as a blue
That's a
clip.
soundbite.
Yes, I'm gonna make
So-
that a soundbite.
Number 5.
Saul Goodman, Better Call Saul.
All right.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, I had a couple Breaking Bad characters in my top 50, and Gus was a close one. But at the end of the day, I have no Breaking Bad characters that I would consider my all-time favorite.
Mhm.
However, one of my all-time favorite characters just so happens to be the main character of one of my all-time favorite shows.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Doctor
Oh, you
from
took-
Doctor Who.
Any specific doctor? Since I'm hearing a Matt Smith right now.
I could honestly, every single actor to play the Doctor has something that makes them one of my favorite characters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the Ninth Doctor's PTSD era sort of moniker that he's just been through the Time War and he just killed his entire race. He's just committed mass genocide through 2 species and he's just on a darker path. The 10th Doctor's era where he's just gone through that anger phase and then he's now in just a state of pure sadness. And even with Matt Smith's Doctor, even though he's all cheery and upbeat, there are times where he can go dark and you realize more and more that he is in the denial stage. Like, nope, this never happened. I can forget about this.
Do you think his regeneration actually influences that violently as a defense mechanism? That's why he can't cope with it even when he survives things or tries to talk about it, because his brain doesn't allow him between regenerations, because his brain actually tries to reset itself? Was that a lot?
That was a lot, and you just realize, like, oh my god,
Sorry,
that could be true.
I keep What did I hit you with earlier that like smacked you with a hard realization that bad? Oh, with Bad Guys.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
explained most big animation companies, their biggest hire for artists because they are so constant and readily available, and there's millions of them. It's furries.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's a fox in every major movie coming up recently?
True. But with the Doctor, there is something that makes every single actor to play the Doctor one of my favorite characters of all time. Whether it's their juvenile nature or their seriousness or their intellect, there is something that makes them my favorite Doctor. And even with Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor, which I will admit is a low point in this new revival, even she herself as the Doctor has her moments where she is allowed to be either threatening or something new, something very warm that we haven't seen from the Doctor before, even with Matt Smith. Like,
More wholesome leaning,
more wholesome. Like,
warm
she
and
is
comforting.
she is the hippie of all the Doctors. More so than
Scarfy? More so
so-
than Scarfy?
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. I know.
More so than Tom Baker.
In ERB, I'm just like, yeah, Scarfy. So, Tom Baker, Scarfy.
So, of all the Doctors, if I were to choose one that was like not my favorite, Six. You know the Sixth Doctor, Colin Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be the only exception to the rule.
Was he
But
the
even
one that had an organ TARDIS?
yes, but even then,
Hater.
everything bounces back with Tom Baker, with Peter Capaldi, with David Tennant, who, rumor has it, could be coming back as the 14th Doctor.
David Tennant coming back
There is large speculation
to
that
be the 14th again?
he is high up there as one of the actors who could be the 14th Doctor.
Just saying, what's his name? Idris Elba, and what's his name from the IT crowd? Who I said he's
Richard Ayoade.
Yes,
He was in The Bad Guys.
Man, that is a good cast.
Yeah.
I want Richard Ayoade really bad, and I think you want Idris Elba really bad.
No, I want the guy. Blanking on his name right now.
If only we should do an episode on that. You get XP. Did an episode on that.
Yeah. David Harewood. That's the one who I want to play the Doctor.
Yeah, there's so many good options right now too. But David Tennant is also an amazing option.
Exactly, and they made clear that in Day of the Doctor, there could be regenerations that are just past regenerations, born anew.
That would actually be interesting if he like tries to explore his past regenerations. If they boost the budget enough, I feel like what if they tried to like do the early classic Doctors? That would be kind of awesome. Why
Like
didn't
they do-
Disney buy them like that? Why didn't Disney buy that out as a property?
BBC,
Yeah, honestly.
because they're owned by AMC.
Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say, for stuff like that, I'm surprised Disney hasn't tried to swallow them up yet.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, maybe-
I think the same thing about Warner Brothers, and then I realized, oh wait,
Yeah, Warner Bros.
Warner Brothers has some classics to their name.
Yeah. So the only things that Disney can't consume yet.
But again, much like Zuko, much like Tyrion Lannister, much like Inigo Montoya, if you know me, you knew this was coming. The Doctor is my fourth favorite character of all time, and we're just gonna let this play out because this is the best part of
Yes.
the scene.
So
Yep, we had to
your
let that play out.
Number 4,
The Doctor.
wonderful. Mine is not a struggle with the character, but which of the character.
That was a lot with my number 3. That's like a very
mid me,
Oh,
please.
sorry.
Mid it up, please.
There you go.
If you would. I would say nostalgia backed, but
I
also
knew it!
very valid. You really you called
Matt
it?
Porter called it.
No way.
Yes,
No way. How did he call it?
because he listens.
Man, always listening. I keep checking behind me to make sure now. But yeah, it was a hard in between Tobey Maguire Spider-Man or Miles Morales, which
Really, no Tom Holland, no Andrew Garfield.
I just Tom Holland I think I related to more than Andrew Garfield. Ironically, I think I was more sad for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. But I don't know. Tobey Maguire's I gotta
It's
like
the nostalgia of it.
that, and also but like throughout the entire thing, the fact that I think because I saw another Nostalgia Critic video talking about it, there was so much that this movie was establishing that we wouldn't have now without it. Especially like comic book movies being like very very mainstream, more than what Blade was doing, to the point where it like gave people our age something really cool.
And you view Tobey Maguire Spider-Man the character as one of the biggest influences of modern day superheroes.
Yeah, actually, especially with the whole being grounded, being personal, being emotional, and having interpretation differences to approach a crowd with a lot of context behind it, especially with the performance of the actors, especially Willem Dafoe. We would not appreciate Willem Dafoe as much without, and J.K. Simmons. Just let it roll. Just let it roll.
I love this theme so much.
Would you believe if younger me almost cried when it came to the Green Goblin scene with this because I couldn't tell how bad the CG was? It was pretty terrifying at the time too. When
At
you
the
have, when you have
time,
glazed
yeah.
eyes, things look really cool.
It did. Especially when back then when the worst, even some of the lesser CGI could be passable, that nowadays, no, that wouldn't fly.
Unless you're like playing a PS2 or PS1. Even then, the PS2 Spider-Man didn't look that
It was
bad.
2002 and a low budget, okay?
I would not be the amazing climber or science genius, I think. Well, I was a science genius for a while, and then I like rotted my brain out. I don't know what. I think it was Godzilla that did that, probably. with
I
time.
always related to Tom Holland more.
Understandable. Yeah, he's more relatable, especially because he is a teen. Toby's was much older. I think a little leaning too old at the start. But when he like grew, it was because I think they were trying to emphasize that he was maturing way faster due to what happened, especially with how much he had to put up with. Weird how unrecognizable all of the places too in the movies are by now. Really, like the locations weren't altered
Well,
that much. Oh,
I
wait,
mean,
just
well,
not like that. Not like that. I meant like in the MCU, if you visit locations in that, the same way you visit like LA, it's never the same layout in a movie or game because it's like slightly altered just to fit how the movie plays out. I wasn't talking about 9/11 actually, but that was also a giant influence for that just because of like that point in time in 2002. Like there were so many scenes removed, they had to edit his eyes to make sure there was no reflections visible. Never sparked theories. It just kind of was like speculate. Oh yeah, you can't really include this now because of context, even though this is like a year and a half in the making.
It's kind of like how Lilo and Stitch. Do you remember?
They had to edit the plane to a alien spacecraft
because they had it originally that
flying through a city.
Yep, the plane that they were hijacking was going to fly through a city in Lilo and Stitch, the ending of that movie. And by the time that 9/11 happened,
They had to
the producers actually called Disney and said, "Don't worry, we're going to change it."
before Disney sent out like a notice, like
Exactly.
hey kid, I got from the wow, never mind, false alarm, not false alarm.
I kind of want to think that Disney was just had their hand on the phone about to call them, and then the phone rang.
went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that. There's so many weird things surrounding like that got canceled or completely undone, cut apart. I want to know what the cutting.
I just realized.
What?
Lord of the Rings, Two Towers came out 2002.
That's a coincidence because of the book. That's a giant coincidence because of the
The
book.
producers were actually worried that the title was going to throw people off.
When Statue of Liberty, imagine when the Statue of Liberty had like a
Liberty.
Liberty.
Liberty Bibbity.
So, like historical landmarks getting a giant renovation or something, and a movie is shot there the year before the movie's being like finished, edited, whatever. Something horrible happens, like a giant tragedy at a historical landmark like that.
There were 2 in Home Alone 2.
Yeah, there's just it's so weird how productions like that can have such giant editing collisions that they have to completely alter what happens in them so that it doesn't influence reality. But for us, it's the opposite, where we add on to places like the Split trilogy. Philadelphia has like 15 giant towers that go past the clouds in it, which I think is so cool looking. And it's weird that they kind of mimicked it because there's now taller towers built where that building was put because the Comcast building was shrunk in it. But yeah, stuff like that. I love Spider-Man though, especially for all the history surrounding it.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
your
why
number 4, Spider-Man. More specifically,
Tobey Maguire's, but with a very hot runner-up of Miles Morales.
yeah, because Into the Spider-Verse is amazing. And did you see the title for
The
first-
third one
third
is
Beyond.
Beyond the Spider-Verse. Yeah. I've been keeping up.
I can't
I've been
wait.
keeping up.
I can't wait because the second one got delayed a whole 6 months.
Because
Actually, no, 8 months.
Good
Sorry.
things take time, and I hope the delay feeds it well. I don't like delays, but I love finished work. I hate rushing things. This week has been stressful, and I can relate.
Yeah, because nothing. Yeah, because there were no movies that ended badly because of multiple delays. Black Widow.
Just saying. Or because of production setbacks.
Morbius.
Hey! It's Morbin time. More $1 billion.
All right, so moving into our top 3.
Top 3.
I got a tie
Ooh.
because I could not decide between the two of them, and I decided that was a good thing because you can't have one without the other. The Batman and the Joker.
And the Joker.
Yep. Because you can't have one without the other.
This isn't your number one.
Nope.
This is your third?
It's my third.
Oh.
They created each other. And some of the best Batman material shows that they created each other. Whether it was Batman 89, where Joker literally killed Batman's parents, or Joker the movie, where Joker influenced the murder of Batman's parents.
Man.
There is always a situation where the Batman creates the Joker and the Joker creates Batman.
Like
That is the duality that they share, and the connection that, whether Batman wants to admit it, the connection that they feel with each other, that one can't survive without the other. One can't be healthy without the other.
which is actually really unhealthy if you think about it.
Exactly.
It's more like they don't sustain without each other, but they don't revere each other.
Some of the best Batman material and I feel like there's not much Batman material that's related to this. Some of the best Batman material that I think could be made was if Joker was dead or something. How would Batman be different? How would he be different if the Joker was just gone one day and he had to live life without the Clown Prince of Crime? Would he be happier? Because I don't think
I feel
Batman
like he would be less sharp. I feel like he would start missing, if that makes sense.
I feel like he would get a bit more violent because he would be like, okay, where's this going? But in the reality, there is no joke to it. There is no punchline. The Joker is just gone or dead.
That's more like what Superman would do, I feel, though, because of Injustice. Like, without a Joker, Superman's like, oh, there's nothing to prove that whatever I'm doing is a dichotomy of incorrectness.
And then there's Yeah, because the two of them, especially Gotham,
Mhm.
Gotham influenced this a lot. Gotham, there was Gotham,
Gotham the show, sorry.
Gotham the show. There was the Arkham games. There was especially Joker's death in the Arkham games, which
Mhm.
even a non-video game person, I know that.
Yeah, because if you like Batman, it has to be an iconic moment. You could literally watch it cutscene by cutscene. It's that good.
Exactly.
The way it like messes with Batman's psyche, it wasn't really. It's Joker's venom is worse than Scarecrow's in the way because it gets into Batman's head specifically and causes him to just unhinge himself.
And just, I don't know, whichever Joker and Batman, the dichotomy, there was always something to be appreciated. And I feel like if Jared Leto was given the Zack Snyder chance, we could have seen a good Batman and Joker dynamic between Ben Affleck and Jared Leto. But with that said, I think there is only, I would like to close out my number 3 by saying that there is only one definitive Batman and Joker dynamic.
And I'm gonna assume.
Oh, you can say that over the phone, Batman, but if I had
said
you
no
here,
memes.
I'd pound you to a pulp.
Start pounding, Joker.
I thought we said no memes.
Yeah, but my meme was my justification.
Yeah.
There
okay,
you go.
Okay.
My number
okay,
3
Turn
favorite.
my knob.
Yeah, my number
come on.
3 favorite characters of all time is Batman, and Joker.
So I'd say yours is a very character dichotomy
Yeah.
reliant. So yeah, your number 3,
Mhm.
Bat Joker, their ship
Bat
name.
Joker.
Their ship name. But yeah, my number 3. Actually, very similar.
Really?
Once again, we keep
The Flash?
especially CW Flash, or just
I'm surprised by this. I did not expect. Okay,
dude.
I was looking for an Arrowverse character that I could, but I couldn't really convince myself.
Mhm.
So the fact that the Flash is this high on your list, I'm very surprised.
I'm also kind of surprised, but dude, up until season 3 is pretty much, or season
Yeah.
4 is where I stopped. Season 4 was Gorilla Grodd, right? Yeah. I just
Gorilla Grodd was in season 1.
Oh, I'm saying like Gorilla.
Gorilla
Grodd.
City.
Yeah. Sorry, that's like the big Gorilla Grodd was the big bad by that point. But yeah, up until pretty much season 4-ish is like where I hard stopped, and it was wonderful because all the problems that I'm seeing now, I'm like, nope, they're far away, they're not real, nope. I can live in.
You have that luxury. I didn't.
Ha. Code.
I had to sit through the
Code.
Thinker's awful plan. The
Code.
main villain of the season. His big plan was to make the world
Seed.
stupid.
Code.
That was his big plan.
Deal with it. I knew when to hop ship. I loved the Reverse Flash. I will always be a part of
Yep.
this. Even in the animated.
Tom Cavanaugh. Awesome.
He plays the most amazing, creepiest. Oh yeah, he seems predictable for. Oh, you just threw me for a loop with that.
They do this horrible thing apparently in in the latest crossover where he explains to Barry his origin and why he hates Barry so much. But in season 1, when Barry asks why he did all the bad things that he did, why does he hate him? Why did he kill his mother? He just responds, because I hate you. Why did you kill my mother? Because I hate you. That alone, like, okay, I'm scared.
It's like.
I don't need an origin.
Do I want to? I don't think I want to know. I think I want to run. I think.
And what do they do? They let us know.
They what?
And what do they do? A couple seasons later, they let us know.
I didn't want to know. That was so cool. The one time I don't want to know, it was amazing. But yeah, for everything leading up to it, especially the whole Jay Garrick arc with what was his name? Blue Lightning.
Zoom.
Sorry.
Zoom was freaking terrifying.
Yeah. I don't know how like prosthetics.
He paralyzed Barry.
Yeah, prosthetics being made creepy was hard to achieve, but that wasn't a monster mask. That wasn't a It wasn't like an effect.
I am the fastest man alive.
I was actually really creeped out, like genuinely, because
He had claws.
he had the speed of a horror villain, but none of the every time the camera's on him, he's walking. He was like Mike Myers, but with accurate speed. I was just really like.
I highly recommend the crossover between Supergirl and The Flash duet, where it's a musical. And I know Everyone's saying that. No,
I was forced to watch High School Musical. I know Grant Gustin's amazing. I trust you.
no. Everyone who has not seen the episode has said, "What? No, that's so cringeworthy." I'm like, no, it's amazing. It's legitimately one of the best episodes of The Flash. Watch it now.
I trust that. Dude, Mr.
Mixixpidalic.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Mixixpidalic.
Mixixpidalic.
Don't worry, I had to say it dozens of times before I could actually say it.
If we can get that absurd, we can do a musical. I'm pretty sure we've had some before.
But
yeah, I love CW Flash pretty much for a lot of the reasons that I listed. I just appreciated the way it flowed. I was sad when I was sad. I was like I was crying at certain parts.
How many times did you cry when Barry's mom said to him, "My beautiful boy"?
Moving on.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah,
Run, Barry.
Stop.
Run.
Stop. For all the things that I listed.
Henry Allen's death.
Can you stop? For all of that, I appreciate it so much for a character because he was not just a vessel. He was not just something personable.
Cisco's death.
Stop it! It was something amazing to see unfold, and I am so happy that I can put this on my list.
Yeah. So your
Mine-
number 3,
The Flash.
The Flash.
Very specifically CW's Flash.
Yeah.
Up until around season 4-ish is where I nicely cut off.
I'm not
because it was too
gonna. I'm not gonna lie. When Cisco died in season 1, when he quote unquote died in season 1, I cried. Like, you killed Cisco in the first half of the season. What have you done?
I liked that. I didn't like.
I loved story wise,
I loved
emotional wise. No.
No. But yeah, my number 3, CW Flash.
My number 2. It's funny that with Batman and Joker, you mentioned the dichotomy that it's the dichotomy of a character that I love. My number 2 is Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Because you can't have one without the other.
I think you're leaning more on Anakin though.
I lean on both.
You edgelord.
Nope. I lean on both. It's the character of Anakin I love. It's the intimidation of Vader that I love. Because you can't, even though I love Vader and I love Anakin respectively, for Clone Wars and original trilogy, I love both respectively. When you combine them, that's when the character's at their best. You cannot tell me there is no sadder moment than if you were just seeing Vader with the music behind him and it's Padme's theme. You can't tell me you wouldn't cry. And you can't tell me that the interaction that Vader had with Ahsoka didn't give you chills. Because it was combining Anakin's past with Vader's present.
Nope, can't lie to you. Yeah.
It's the fact that Anakin wanted to be the best person that he could be so badly, wanted to protect the people that he loved so badly, that he just ended up destroying everything that he loved so badly.
He was never not a slave to something or someone.
And by the time of the original trilogy, he's still a slave to that ideology because he thinks he can be the best. He can beat Palpatine with the help of Luke. He can restore actual peace, order, and justice to the galaxy, but he's just blinded by that dark side, the paranoia that killed Padme.
And he was always in his cage. The only thing he feared more was what the cage could tell him, or what he would see.
Exactly.
He was never afraid of what was in front of him, no matter what. That is why he took so many bold actions. You ever think about how many dire situations he put himself in? He was probably having dreams a lot, and it influenced his cunning and cockiness to the point where he could put himself in any situation knowing he'll be fine. But the second it was something personal, that is when you could see him go on like rampages. You could see him try everything he could to stop it, and that is what made him so violent with all of his actions.
Ewan McGregor confirmed that in the Obi-Wan series, he has a scene with Vader, and Ewan McGregor was legitimately terrified.
Oh, man.
You can't tell me that's not the makings of one of the best villains ever, if not the best. And add that along with the past that he has, especially Clone Wars. The prequel trilogy aside, Clone Wars, that past, that's the heartbreak of it. That's the intimidation and the heartbreak combined to create Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. And the two of them, the one person is my second favorite character of all time. So, going on to your number 2, your runner-up.
Oh man, dude, my number 2.
How hard was this? How hard was number 2? Because number 2 was for me
Easy,
was like,
dude. Easy.
Oh, really?
Street. This was the most easy street that could ever have easy streeted. Is that a verb? This one's pretty specific, but I love all of it. Come on, man.
I'm trying to think.
I
Like,
quizzed you earlier.
oh, it's Godzilla.
Yep. Pretty
Godz-
much all of them.
You know he's going to be in Call of Duty?
What?
There's a Call of Duty trailer with Godzilla in it.
Is he like part of the? Is he Godzilla sized or is he like a
He's
playable thing?
Godzilla.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah. Once we're done, look
I
up
was
the
gonna say,
trailer for that.
We're gonna look at the trailer for.
Yeah,
what's
once
the
we're done, look at the trailer for that. I'm not lying.
next-
Godzilla's in Call of Duty.
Godzilla Final Wars was my big introduction. I kind of knew of him, kind of, you know, as like a
Like everyone knows about Godzilla, but
you
they
see
don't.
something a billion times in a parody.
Yeah. It's
for-
like how everyone knows Vader is Luke's father, even if they don't have to see.
Final Wars was my Power Rangers, I think. Also, we need to do an episode concerning that entire genre because it goes deep, dude. There's a deep dive for
I'm telling
that.
you, Kamen Riders is better Power Rangers.
We will find out.
Kamen Riders is more adult Power Rangers. People die in that show, man.
I like it. In this, people get eviscerated, stabbed, blown up, and it's like kid appropriate. The idea of Godzilla has always been amazing, and I think it stomps out King Kong every time in the idea of it. In the story or plot, King Kong's a tragedy. Godzilla is also a tragedy, but like a more violent vengeance of one. It makes me extremely happy to think about it because, you know, he's always been just badass generally. I don't know. What else do I need to back it? I went on an hour-long
Yeah,
tangent.
you've gone on this for.
Need I say?
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite characters generally, because there's never really a bad Godzilla movie, just absurd.
It surprised me because I was like, oh yeah, Godzilla is a full-on character. This counts. He's not like a force. He is a character.
Pretty much every Godzilla also follows one singular timeline, or if they ever diverge.
Unless the legendary films are involved.
Even the legendary ones, all of the movies will always spawn at 1954, or they are
Sure.
the spawn off of the 1954.
Sure.
Pretty much each of the eras define what they are.
There was
Legendary
no
is an
better
era.
Godzilla in 1999.
Get out. Get out.
That's a lot of fish.
Get out. In fact, the movie that this is from is the one where he, killed that one. It's not that one's not Godzilla. That's Zilla specifically.
Yes, I know.
That character IP has been
Yes,
legally
I know.
That character IP has been legally binded to be Zilla. I rest my case. Hearsay, Mr. Depp.
Hearsay.
Hearsay. So yeah, my numero dos, Gojira.
All right. So we come down to this.
Numero uno.
Number 1. You go first.
What? I just went.
Because I made the whole big deal that no one would be able to guess my number 1.
Okay. I'll take it, I guess, man. So demanding. I think a lot of people at home, I think it's pretty big, pretty easy, pretty obvious. You know.
Trying to guess.
You're trying to guess?
Trying to
Are you
guess.
kidding me? I'm wearing it. Not obviously. Subtly. There's subtlety in it. Come on.
Oh yeah, I know what it is.
You know?
I know what it is.
Give me a letter.
B. Yep. Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
But yeah, what can I?
Double rule through fear.
I plan to rule with respect. I what do I need to say? Come
Book
on.
of Boba Fett. I will admit, I wasn't a Boba Fett person growing up. Book of Mandalorian season 2 and Book of Boba Fett made him one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
I'd say Book of Boba Fett was a little lukewarm for Boba Fett, though.
Oh, absolutely, especially last half.
Just for who we know he is, this was him playing a soft card.
But then he ends up riding a Rancor, and everyone's like, okay, he's amazing.
he's
Sorry, Mando, but
No, I'm sorry. He's always going to be better than Mando. Mando could literally have Rey's lightsaber before Rey gets it or something. Mando could just be wearing all of the merch that's going to be sold. in 2 years, he's going to have all
Mando can do a lot, but does he have knee missiles?
No, he does. Does he have knee darts? Does he have? He doesn't have composite armor. Boba's is literally like upgrade, open-ended, generational, historical. I could go on a whole thing about it. Everything that makes Mando great is because of what Boba was to be shown as. But because, you know, we wanted to approach a more original story, whatever.
I'm surprised you went with the Mandalorian theme of his, not Book of Boba Fett.
Because I think this, more than his Imperial theme, is more to him. This theme specifically of like how feral he can be. Excuse me, I liked his look during the Age of the Empire more with the flight suit and everything. Just because
I like Boss Boba.
I wish the Boss Boba thing. I wish he kind of had like a poncho more, because there was a Legends Boba Fett who had like, you know how Bo-Katan has the
Like
hood?
a Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, he had stuff like that, where it was like adventurer Boba basically.
And I know everyone got pissed when he killed Cad Bane, but as someone who grew up with Clone Wars and has thought that Cad Bane is the best bounty hunter for the longest time,
He's not.
no, let me say,
Mm-hmm.
he needed to die.
Mm-hmm.
He needed an actual death. He has been living for too long.
He
He was 70 at that point.
and he's old. I mean, yeah, he's an alien, but like,
He needed to die. I hope they don't. As someone who loves Cad Bane, I hope they don't bring him back.
but I kind of have a feeling, just because, you know, through subtlety with characters like that, it's like, well, did he really get like murked, killed? And it's like, well,
We saw him get stabbed.
we saw Boba get stabbed. How many people have we seen? How many people have we seen get stabbed and survive completely fine? Especially
Well,
like
how many people have we seen their hand get cut off?
Luke, Anakin, Chewbacca, technically, because he got like burnt.
Yep.
I can't believe they made that one of his skins in the game.
Mace.
I mean, Mace is still up in the air, but come on. What do you think?
Yeah, just like his hand.
No, that's on a speeder bike somewhere. So someone's windshield on Coruscant just. Oh, is that a Jedi hand? It was like mid force push or something, so it just blasts their windshield. But yeah, Boba Fett. What can I say, man?
You
Look
love
at my wallet, dude.
again. With a lot of these, they're sort of self-explanatory if you know us.
Yeah, I feel like I have a type with characters too.
I have the type of dichotomy. I want to see the character arc.
Sparky Boom Man, Boba Fett. He's the Boba Fett of Avatar. He is amazing, badass, armored. He has some cool decked out thing on him. We want to explore him, but we don't really want to know. We want to like.
My type is the dichotomy. Your character is the one that speaks for themselves
Without
and
saying anything.
The
And
silent
you can
badass.
read them, and you see them, and you just read them.
Exactly. So
When I say I can read a character, I mean like, oh, because they are literally wearing their story on them. It's awesome.
especially Boba Fett.
Yeah, because everything on him tells a story. Like, what does the wheat mean? What does the sigil mean? What does the dots mean on his helmet? And they change. Why did he change them? Oh, because it went from vengeance to family.
Exactly. So
My number two, or my number one, excuse
Yeah.
me. Sorry, because I jumped from number two to number one.
yeah,
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
No matter what, it's always Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Da-na-na-na.
So, tell me your numero uno.
My number one.
I want to know.
Galir Faith from Fantasy High.
The D&D campaign?
Yes. Let me explain. Let me explain. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. Let me make that perfectly clear.
So
I mean
I
this-
was really confused when I walked out.
I mean this wholeheartedly when I say that Galir is my favorite character of all time.
I thought my stuff was niche.
Because if there is any character, because all of my favorite characters, if they have been through a lot of different episodes or movies or anything like that, there's always been a point where I was like, I'm not really into them as much as I used to, and then sometimes they would be brought back, and I was like, okay, now I like you again. Galir has always been the most hilarious character I can imagine. He is an elf punching bag. Let me explain who Galir is. Galir in Fantasy High is a wood elf who is the stepfather of one of the main characters, Fig Faeth, who has always been thought to be elf, but turns out when she reached puberty, she started to grow horns. She was half elf, half demon. So Galir divorced Fig's mom and let himself go. He is a fat elf with a bad comb over, and beans always on his shirt.
Just
Yes, just always on his shirt. And let me show you.
from the College Humor D&D campaign.
Yes,
From the College Humor D&D campaign.
yes. Let me explain to you just how weak he is. His modifiers: 0 strength, 0 dexterity, 0
If it could be in the negatives, it
intelligence +1, wisdom +1, charisma -2, constitution -1.
would. You know how the ends of a D20 are flat? I feel like
There has been no character in all of tabletop history that has scored more pointless natural 20s than Galir Faeth. He is the most human punching bag imaginable, and every single time he says a line, I am laughing my ass off.
I thought I was so like, oh, no one knows your favorite character is a joke. No, it's
No one knows my favorite
from
character.
the College Humor D&D
Yep.
campaign.
Every single time
Dude,
he has a line of dialogue, I laugh every single time. It is consistent.
you don't love dichotomies, you love the pitiful.
I love the pitiful. He is an elf punching bag of comedy, and I love it.
Guys.
I can't always rely on some of my favorite characters to always deliver the same amount of awesomeness that I love them for. Galir always delivers on the same amount of hilarity every single time. And every single time I watch an episode with him for the first time, I die laughing.
So, guys, your number one is
My number
Galir.
one is Galir Faeth from Fantasy High, the lunch lad of Edikfor.
Wow. And my number one is Boba Fett.
Absolutely.
So, guys, we finished our character arc.
Exactly. We finished the character arc, so
It's not our character arc. It's the arc of our characters. We love.
exactly. So going a quick recap of our top 10 best. Dalton?
10, Banjo-Kazooie. 9, The Scotsman Samurai Jack. 8, BT from Titanfall. 7, Wong Chi-Tong from Avatar: The Last Airbender. 6, Trunks from Dragon Ball. 5, Saul Goodman, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. 4, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Miles Morales. 3, CW The Flash. 2, Godzilla, Every Godzilla. 1, Boba Fett, the one and only.
Yeah. And my top 10 include Death from Supernatural, Inigo Montoya, Doctor Strange, Tyrion Lannister, Prince Vegeta, Prince Zuko, The Doctor, Batman and the Joker in a tie for third, Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, and my number one, who is and will always be and was the easiest out of this entire list,
Wow.
Galir Faeth from Fantasy High.
Man, oh man, that was.
I will always defend that.
That was a hefty episode. I
So-
thought it'd be easier too, because it's just like, oh, I just like this one. No, it's like, oh man, I forgot how much context there is to liking something.
Yeah. So, with that said, next time on Real Wreckers, we will be doing a twofer.
A twofer.
A twofer. We will not only be doing a quick review of Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Absolutely.
but we will also be combining that with our predictions for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And we will be deciding once and for all which one do we think will be 2022's best multiverse movie? Because now that Spider-Man isn't coming out this year, we can actually choose.
Dude, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think it's going to kick it. I think it's going to kick Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness's ass.
I love Everything Everywhere All at Once so much that once it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to watch both that and the Batman back to back just so I can see which one I like more because they're neck and neck.
I don't know, man. All at Once, dude. It's probably I think it's the best movie I've seen in years.
Yeah. And
Genuinely.
we're gonna talk about that more next week.
next
So-
time on Real Records.
Yeah, so with that said, make sure to follow us on Instagram. That is REEL_RECKERS, Real Records, Real Records at Instagram.
And our TikTok at Real Records. That's REELRECKERS to stay up to date on all of our polls and for a shot at a shout out next time.
Yep, until then, I'm Billy,
And I'm Dalton.
and you can consider this real
Wrecked.
wrecked.